So this is the 0810 hours GMT edition of the Khoodeelaar television channel, broadcasting on the internet under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo editions. Baby Angel Geronimo is the world exclusive Baby Angel Geronimo. World exclusive, original, truthful witnessing the all-pervasive criminality, depravity, and lying by the agents and agencies of the United Kingdom state. And as with every incident, evident, witnessed by Baby Angel Geronimo, the saying in the Holy Qur'an, al-Isra, is vindicated, as is the witnessing of the bad deeds by the Baby Angel Geronimo. So this is the 0910 hours UK time edition and 0810 hours GMT edition of the Baby Angel Geronimo editions and transliteration in the Holy Qur'an's Al-Surah, al-Isra. وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوكَا. This is from the internet, this particular part. And say, truth has arrived and falsehood has perished. Yet certainly falsehood by its nature is bound to perish. There is in the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, verse 81. And this applies to every single vindication of the witnessing of the bad deeds, witnessing by the Baby Angel Geronimo, which we record and analyze and we add to the collection that we have been building. Baby Angel Geronimo is the alpaca who was born in New Zealand, and he was born to probably the most well-known alpaca family, collected and lovingly raised and collected by the human being Leonie Walker. The Baby Angel Geronimo, the world's most beautiful Baby Angel Geronimo, the world's most honest, the healthiest, and the most truthful Baby Angel Geronimo. Arrived in England, South Gloucestershire in England, at the invitation of a woman called Helen MacDonald, who too is a long-standing nurturer of alpacas and is a officially recognized veterinary nurse. So we assign to the relationship the baby angel Geronimo is the baby looked after by the human mum, Helen MacDonald in South Gloucestershire in England, and forever being missed by the human mum, Leonie Walker, in New Zealand. So today, Saturday, 12th of August 2023, even the so-called right-wing, racist, anti-migrant titles in Fleet Street have been forced by the evidence, by the power of the evidence of the facts, to begin to wonder whether the Goa, India, descended, London-born Suella Eviller Crueller Fernandes is responsible for literally the infection that has been found in the water in the boat in Dorset. And Suella Eviller Crueller is not getting a good weekend coverage in the normally racist anti-migrant papers. INNAL BAATILA KAANA ZAHOOKA. Evil shall perish. INNAL BAATILA KAANA ZAHOOKA. It's in the nature of evil to perish. And Suella Eviller Crueller Fernandes is the personification of evil, as is the ugly Priti Patel, as is the congenital liar Boris Johnson, as is the evilness George Injustice Unjust Eustace, as is the evilness Christine Middlemas. Suella Eviller Crueller. Suella Eviller Crueller. Let's check the current headings accessible at this moment on the internet. What are they saying? Now this barge is called BB Stockholm, and according to the website lbc.co.uk, shown as posted 4 days ago, it reads, migrants who refuse to board the BB Stockholm barge set up as accommodation for them face losing government support. And on a separate YouTube video, it doesn't. Yes, it's YouTube video produced by the Sun, Scum, 4 days ago. First of 500 illegal migrants arrived on board BB Stockholm. Now, let's check what the latest and according to one item dated the 5th of April 2023, I think it's an ABC website. Is it the Canadian ABC or the Australian ABC? And it says Britain has announced plans, that was in April, to house around 500 asylum seekers on a barge as government seeks cost-cutting measures and deterrence for arrivals crossing the channel. Following his pledge to stop the small boats used by tens of thousands of migrants each year to make the treacherous trip, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said the barge would save money and reduce pressure on hotels. And so on. So, what this is about, and the narrative is the entire media, the entire British media, right of center, middle ranking, left of center, the whole collective totality of the British media, so called, is in denial of the existence of the world. It's in denial of the existence of the actual, active, signed up to treaties, international treaties that the United Kingdom is signed up to. So let's check what this BB Stockholm is actually originates from. Now it says BB Stockholm, an engineless barge, is an accommodation vessel owned by the shipping and marine operations company BB Line. The ship was built in 1976 and is flagged in Barbados. It was converted into an accommodation barge in 1992, and it was formerly known as Floatel Stockholm and Dino. From 1994 to 1998, it was used to house the homeless, including some asylum seekers, in Hamburg, Germany. In 2005, it began to be used by the Netherlands to detain asylum seekers in Rotterdam. In 2013, the barge was used by Petroface as accommodation for construction workers at the Shetland gas plant. During this time, it was berthed at Lerwick, Scotland. In 2015, I read that again. In 2015, a man from Saltacoats, Ayrshire, called His Majesty's Coast Guard to report that two bombs had been planted on barges. The accommodation ship Gemini and the BB Stockholm. He admitted a charge of threatening or abusive behavior and was sentenced to a 6-month tagging order. The barge was finally towed away from Lerwick by the Cypriot tug Mustang on 31st of May 2017, although it had been unused for over a year. It was subsequently towed to the Danish island of Bornholm. I'll read that again. It was subsequently towed to the Danish island of Bornholm. In August 2017, there was discussion by a property management company about leasing the barge to provide university accommodation to 400 students in Galway, Ireland, along with the BB bargain. However, the plan was generally not workable. The existing docks were not suitable, and the Supreme Court of Ireland had ruled that such a use would require planning permission. In June 2018, the barge was moved to Pitt, Sweden, to assist in the construction of a wind farm called Markbygden. It stayed there until at least 2019. So it is full of mixed history. In July 2013, I'm skipping a few paragraphs. An open letter signed by over 50 non government organizations and campaigners, including the Refugee Council in the United Kingdom, called on the barge's owner, Bibi Marine, to acknowledge his founder, John Bibi's links to the Atlantic slave trade and to end the practice of containing asylum seekers on its vessels. Later that month, that is in July 2023, a Guardian report highlighted safety concerns, including potential overcrowding along with narrow corridors and a lack of life jackets on board. The Times newspaper also reported there were concerns about the safety. The Home Office, that is the United Kingdom Interior Department, said the barge would adhere to all relevant health and safety standards. On 7th of August 2023, it is reported the first group of 15 asylum seekers had boarded the vessel, but a group of about 20 had refused to board. This is last week, isn't it? A few days later, on the 11th of August, that is yesterday, the asylum seekers were evacuated as a precaution as traces of Legionella bacteria were found in the onboard water system. So, this is so far the post because it's a kind of live, active story. This is the end of this one at this time. Now, the pictures of Suella Eviller Crueller Fernandes. So, if you look at the actual history and the files of Suella Eviller Crueller, her photographs, it is quite clear that she has been undergoing heavy duty makeup. Her hair style, the color of her clothing, the facial expression are all mechanically undergoing heavy duty transformation. But the essential truth remains that she is the personification of evil. And the idea is that in the context of the United Kingdom Conservative Party and the right wing media, Evilla Cruella is actually doing every single new thing that she does is worse than the previous one. And in the dystopian world that she inhabits, the worse it is, the better it is for her career. So while people with common sense, basic compassion would notice that the BB Stockholm Legionella infection and bug discovery is all round a bad thing, Suella Evilla Cruella may sadistically, typically sadistically, put that item in her CV as a positive one, showing that she is the female version of Dracula Duncan Smith. Now, Dracula Duncan Smith, also known officially as Ian Duncan Smith, Conservative Member of Parliament for North London, North East London constituency, Chingford, where the evilness called Norman Tebbit misrepresented the constituency for too long before he retired as MP. Ian Dracula Duncan Smith, in our vocabulary about him, will forever remain Ian Dracula Duncan Smith because of the role that he has played in the massacre of the most vulnerable claimants that were forced to commit suicide by repeatedly being denied the money that they were legally entitled to. and the denials were being perpetrated by the department, deprivation, want, and poverty creation. DWP, that was fronted by Ian Dracula Duncan Smith for too long, that was aided and abetted by George Osborne, who was simultaneously being treated as the de facto deputy prime minister, while John David Cameron was the incumbent as prime minister. George Osborne aided and abetted the policy of murderous coercion by the DWP, fronted by Ian Dracula Duncan Smith, and the various events surrounding the murders by enforced suicide by the DWP, withholding money that the DWP legally didn't have any right to withhold. But the essential effect of the withholding of the money from the most vulnerable people directly has the result of them feeling totally helpless, totally powerless, totally worthless, to the point that they committed suicides exactly as had been planned by the DWP. So take a few decades back and, well, look back in the records of the 1920s, 1930s in the Hitler fronted Nazi party in Germany that demonized the most vulnerable people, the people most in need. And those demonized people are among the people that the Nazi party and the Nazis in power in Germany, fronted by Hitler, were among the genocided, massacred people. But because before they were genocided and massacred, to the ordinary Germans, they were demonized as being worthless. So, what is happening with the narrative that is being run as part of the propaganda fronted by Suella Eviller Crueller Fernandes is that the people in the category that is offensively called migrants, because the connotation attached to the word migrants is not a positive one in context. So to become categorized as a migrant in the United Kingdom currently and in the last, let's say, decades is to be open to be denounced as being worthless, as being unworthy of receiving dignified, legitimate, much needed support from the state. So, the discovery of the bug, the Legionella bugs, is only the latest one in the list of violations and evilness being foisted on the migrants by the United Kingdom government, currently colored as conservative. And in the person of Rishi Sunak, like Suella Fernandes, of Indian origin but born in England. Fernandes is reportedly a Buddhist, whereas Rishi Sunak has not been reported about extensively about his religion. But his wife Okkata Marti, whose name is Sanskrit based, Okkata Marti, is the daughter of the multi-billionaire Indian tycoon who set up the Infosys mega organization in India. So those people who are in India working with or investing in the Infosys would not have any need to risk their lives by becoming would-be migrants. And as Rishi Sunak has admitted early on when he became potential leader of the Conservative Party, genuinely he said he didn't actually know any working class person. That is how removed Rishi Sunak is from reality of this English society itself. And the question is, where do they find them? How on earth can somebody like Rishi Sunak, who is a descendant of the people who took part in the protest in 1919, so what we are doing is putting together the corrective evidential truthful thread to counter the lies being pumped out by the British media by Suella Eviller Crueller Fernandes, an evilness personified Rishi Sunak, and to show that the behavior of the chief veterinarian vet called Christian Evilness Middleness at the DEFRA department in the United Kingdom in the period of her demonizing the baby angel Geronimo has been absolutely identical to the behavior of the Nazis demonizing the most vulnerable people in Germany in the 1930s. And the behavior of Suella Eviller Fernandes in condemning child migrants seeking refuge as they fled desperate background situations, turbulent situations in the countries they came from as part of the invasion force That use of language by Suella Eviller Fernandes has been condemned by two Jewish child refugees of the 1930s, 40s. Alf Dubs and a woman in her 80s. So think about that. Suella Eviller Crueller Fernandes is of Goan descent, but according to the reports published in the last 6 months, she's a Buddhist, she's not a Hindu, and she's not a Christian like. But Fernandes is a Portuguese colonialist legacy nomenclature. In the truthful world, she should be unconditionally devoted to the defense of the very people she is trying to sink, literally. Now, the infection with Legionella is the vindication of the truth. As it says in the Qur'an, INNAL BAATILA KAANA ZAHOOKA WA-QUL JAA-AL وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ INNAL BAATILA KAANA ZAHOOKA. When Gordon Brown was in the news during the period of 1997 and 2007, Gordon Brown followed Tony Blair as UK Prime Minister in 2007. When he did that, Gordon Brown was allowed by the British media to get away with his trenchant racist tradition and outlook. Because the possibility is present that the political murderer of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, is likely to occupy number 10 Downing Street as things stand now, following the next general election. And this Keir Starmer is being actively kind of ingratiated to by Gordon Brown. And it seems that the surfacing of Tony Blair as a key advisor to Keir Starmer and Gordon Brown's racist, anti-Muslim, hate spewing contributions are intentionally there to bring about a kind of image around Keir Starmer that he is as anti-Muslim, as racist, as cruel as Margaret Thatcher was. And Margaret Thatcher's cruelty and the lack of compassion is or are being mentioned as part of the package that Tony Blair is aiding and abetting in the presentation of, that Starmer would be another de facto follower of Margaret Thatcher. So there is nothing in the Labour Party, in opposition so called, that differentiates the Labour Party in Parliament in the United Kingdom as constituting an ideological moral difference from the status quo presented by Rishi Sunak, Suella Fernandes, etc., etc., Lakun. We shall be talking in due course in other editions. This one is being concluded as far as the references to the evilness of BB Stockholm, discovery of Legionella bugs. Going back to the Evening Standard, where the chief political correspondent Rachel Barford published an item about Lutfur Rahman squandering the money that belongs to the poorest borough in London. That item has not been followed up by Rachel Barford yesterday, because she said that the question of Lutfur Rahman's abuse of money was going to be discussed at a meeting. She didn't specify what meeting, but she did mention that the meeting would take place on Thursday. Now, the Thursday's papers, of course, didn't contain anything, and the Friday's edition of the Evening Standard hasn't contained any follow up. So, we shall be talking more about all of these in due course. And we shall be, of course, updating on events in Pakistan where the military has hijacked the country and the military has kidnapped Imran Khan. And we shall be updating on that set of events as well in due course.